Hello everyone, I am Ashwini Saurabh Mehras from Department of Statistics, RBNB College, Srirampur. Today I am going to teach the topic Measures of Dispersion for first year BSc students for semester 1. So before that we have learned measures of central tendency. So these are mean, median, mode. We also have studied geometric mean, harmonic mean and arithmetic mean. So these are the measures for central tendency. So in this case we cannot measure the variation between the data. For example, I have written this. So these are the three students A, B, C and their marks in 5 subjects I have written here. So student A have got these marks, student B has these marks and C has these marks. So we have calculated arithmetic mean for each student. So by regular method means addition of the marks divided by total number of subjects equal to 5. So here we can see that arithmetic mean for all these three students is same. So here we cannot conclude anything about the students A, B and C. But we can see that the variation between the marks for each student is different. Here A is more consistent student, so he has got similar marks, and B is less consistent than C. So C has failed in one subject and he has got 95 marks in 2 subjects. So here we cannot measure the variation between these marks. For that purpose we will study the next concept, which is measures of dispersion. In this we will study the different measures of dispersion like range, then quartile deviation, then we will study mean deviation, also mean square deviation, then we will study the famous deviation, which is the standard deviation and variance. So these are some measures of dispersion we are going to study one by one. And if we have the data regarding to height of a student, also we have the data for a weight of corresponding students. So in this case, for comparison purpose, there are different units, means height is measured in centimeter and weight is measured in kilogram. So these measures of dispersion are actually having units of the corresponding variable, means centimeter, kilogram or hour, etc. So for this purpose of comparison, we learn about the one coefficient of measure of dispersion for each measure of dispersion, and it is given by so we take the ratio of measure of dispersion and the average. So for each measure of dispersion, we calculate the coefficient of measure of that dispersion by using this formula, that is by dividing that measure of dispersion with average or mean. So there are some requisites for good measure of dispersion. Let us see. So first is it should rigidly define So here we are studying the requisites for good measure of dispersion. The first is it should be rigidly defined, then it should be easy to understand, simple to calculate. Then third requisite is it should be based on all observation. Then it should not get affected by extreme values. And finally, it should have sampling stability. Or we can say that it should possess the good sampling stability. So these are the requisites for good measure of dispersion. And we can see that these requisites are the same for the requisites of good measure of average. Now we will see the measure of dispersions one by one. So let us see first, which is range. So range is the simplest among all the measure of dispersion, and it is calculated by the formula, so L minus S, where L is the largest observation in the data and S is the smallest observation among the data. So this is very easy and simple to understand. So range can be calculated, which denotes the variation between the data by subtracting the smallest observation from the largest observation. Let us see these examples. Suppose these are the data for A, B, C, then we can calculate range by subtracting largest observation minus smallest observation. So here I am going to calculate it. Here we can see that the largest observation in this data is 52 and smallest observation is 48. So here the range can be calculated as 4. Similarly, the largest observation is 70 and smallest observation is 30. So 70 minus 30, it is 40. And for here, largest observation 95 minus smallest observation 0. So 95 is the range for this data. So similarly, we can obtain range for different type of data. And further, the coefficient of range, that is the measure of dispersion, is coefficient of range, and it is given by L minus S upon L plus S. So this is the formula to calculate coefficient of range. So for this example, these three examples, we can calculate the coefficient of corresponding range. So here we have to calculate L minus S upon L plus S. So this will be 4 divided by 52 plus 48. Then here 40 divided by 70 plus 30, and here 95 divided by, so 95 plus 0. So in this way we can calculate coefficient of range also. So now we will see the merits and demerits of this measure of dispersion. So there is only one merit, that this range is very easy to understand and very simple to calculate. Then we can see that for demerit, the range is dependent on only two observations, only extreme observation. So the all observations are not considered here. So the requisite for good measure of dispersion, so it fails here, that it should be based on all observation. So range is not based on all observation. It takes only extreme values for the calculation. So this is the demerit for range. Now we will see the next, which is application of range. So range is good to use when there are small number of observations are there. So it is for small units. Range is preferably used measure of dispersion. Then it is also used to measure the price of shares. So price of shares are measured as highest and lowest. This range is very much used in the branch of statistics which is known as SQC, means statistical quality control. So in this branch, this measure of dispersion is very much used. Also, this range is popularly used in medical sciences. So while measuring the hemoglobin count or blood pressure of a person, the maximum and minimum of that is considered. So the point or the measure of dispersion is widely used there. Also, while measuring the temperature, this is used. Means if a temperature of a certain area can be measured with the help of range, means maximum temperature at that point and the minimum temperature at that point. So we can calculate the average of temperature in a particular area. So these are some applications of range, but this measure of dispersion is not widely used because it has one major demerit, that it is not based on all observations in the data. Then the next measure of dispersion we will study is quartile deviation. Which can be written as abbreviation, so Q dot D. So to overcome the demerit in previous measure of dispersion, we can use quartile deviation partially. So this measure of dispersion is given by QD equals to Q3 minus Q1 upon 2. So this is the semi-interquartile range. This is called So while calculating range, many of extreme observations are there. So this measure of dispersion fails to tell about the variation of data. For that purpose, we take only 50% of the data and we calculate the variation between them. So we can use semi-interquartile range, which is dependent on Q3 means third quartile and Q1 is the first quartile. We have studied this quartile in previous unit, which is measures of central tendency. So while studying the partition values, we have defined the quartiles and we have learned its formulas to calculate for ungrouped data as well as for frequency distribution data. So from that we have different formulas and we can calculate quartiles. So we substitute here the value of Q3 and Q1 to get quartile deviation. So if the data is spread like this, then we know that Q2 is median, which is located at the center, and here is the Q1, here is the Q3. So these are the quartiles we can use. So this is the 50% of the data we will use only to calculate semi-interquartile range. Then the next is coefficient of quartile deviation. And the formula is Q3 minus Q1 divided by Q3 plus Q1. So again we are using the quartiles to calculate coefficient of quartile deviation here. So here we can see that there is a merit of quartile deviation to calculate. It is very easy and simple to understand, and the demerit we can see that it is not dependent on all observations in the data. It takes into account only two quartiles, that is Q1 and Q3 here, to calculate the semi-interquartile range and coefficient of quartile deviation. So this is the demerit of this measure of dispersion. Now we will study some example to understand this quartile deviation. So here I have written one example. So these are the observations. So these are the data. These are 15 observations, and we have to calculate range and coefficient of range, quartile deviation and coefficient of quartile deviation, which we have just learned. So now we will calculate one by one. For that purpose, I have arranged the data in ascending order here. So these observations are arranged in increasing order. So these are the 15 observations. We can see that, so range equal to L minus S. Here L means largest observation, which is 106, and S is the smallest observation, which is 14. So range can be calculated as 106 minus 14. So by using this formula, we will get it as 92. Similarly, we can obtain coefficient of range by the formula L minus S upon L plus S. So here it will be 92 divided by 106 plus 14, which is 120. So we can calculate this quantity for coefficient of range. Then the next is quartile deviation. For that purpose, we have to obtain the quartiles. So we have the formula to calculate quartile. This is the ungrouped data, and Q1 can be calculated as size of n plus 1 upon 4th observation in the ascending order of data. So here n equal to 15. So 15 plus 1, 16 upon 4, which is size of 4th observation in the data. So look at here, 1, 2, 3 and 4. So this is the first quartile. So Q1 is 21. Then Q3 can be obtained by this formula, size of 3 into n plus 1 upon 4th observation. So it will be size of n is 15. So 15 plus 1, 16 upon 4, which is 4. So size of 12th observation in the data. We can see that 12th observation is 100. So our Q3 will be 100. Now we will use the formula quartile deviation and coefficient of quartile deviation. So it is Q3 minus Q1 upon 2. Let us substitute here 100 minus 21 upon 2, and it can be calculated here. So it is 39.5. Similarly, coefficient of QD can be calculated as Q3 minus Q1 upon Q3 plus Q1. So it will be 100 minus 21 divided by 100 plus 21, and which comes out to be 0.6529. So using calculator, you can calculate all these values. So here the data was ungrouped. If the data are of frequency distribution, means xi and corresponding frequencies are given. So in this case, we can use the formula to calculate quartiles. We have previously learned about them, like L plus n L so this is the formula, L plus n upon I into n upon 4th observation minus C of upon F into H. So this is the formula to calculate quartiles in case of frequency distribution. So to learn this, watch my previous videos. So in this way we can we have learned the measure of dispersion, quartile deviation. So for a frequency distribution, if there are classes, then we can use the mid values of the extreme classes. Means mid value of first class can be taken as the smallest observation while calculating range, and mid value of the last class or extreme class can be taken as the largest value for calculating range. So today we have learned the two measures of dispersion, range and quartile deviation. In next lecture we will study about the mean deviation and standard deviation. So hope you enjoyed this lecture. Thanks.